Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 7 of the anime series Ousama Game the Animation, or King's Game the Animation, or Bleeding from the Anus, episode 7, because this show is just about as enjoyable as I imagine Bleeding from the Anus surely is. I'm beginning to hate this show. I'm beginning to loathe it. They actually in this episode managed to bring about a quite concerning, quite intriguing turn of plotting, where we find out that Natsuko and Chiemi are sisters. And that's not even the interesting part. That kind of was like, okay, this is sort of daytime soap opera twists and turns. Oh, we uncovered a long lost brother, or long lost sister, or something like that. What was interesting, what really just flummoxed me and made me actually find it somewhat compelling, is when Nobuaki, Kenta, and this chick Mizuki, they go back to this town. 30 years hence was where the King's Game began. Immediately, the first house they find, conveniently, that Nobuaki enters and Kenta and Mizuki are going to stay outside, is the family homestead of Chiemi, his former girlfriend, who is presumed long dead, as part of the first class. So Nobuaki finds this house and realizes, oh, this is Chiemi's house. And my mind was blown. Suddenly I was like, whoa, that's pretty intriguing. I mean, even, eschewing the plot convenience that the first house he happens to find in this village, which has been cordoned off a la Attack on Titan, they've walled it in and everything like that. And there are corpses still laying on the ground. Presumably the one that they find is Chiemi and Natsuko's father, I guess, because he happened to be holding a book and there was a picture of him with his daughters. And that's how then the other leg drops, we find out, oh, but they're related. The psycho in the modern class number 2 to go through the King's Game, Natsuko, the psycho bitch, is actually Chiemi's sister. And it was kind of like, whereas I was suddenly inflated with intrigue to find out that this town, there was a tie that, led back to Chiemi in the first game and everything, to find out there was a familial tie and that her house, this is where she originated. I was gobsmacked. But then adding insult to injury, they lessen the blow by, and then, of course, Natsuko was her sister. And it's just like, it kind of deflated it a little more to me, like, oh, well, wow, there's a plot convenience, 12-year-old writing style, or the writings of a 12-year-old. And things just proceed to derail through the rest of the episode. Mizuki just disappears for some reason. Kenta goes looking for her. And it's like they're lost in the woods that are surrounding and within this little village. And Mizuki decides, whereas Nobuaki had said very sort of graciously and methodically, I thought he said, let's kill off Natsuko because she's going to be a problem. She's psycho. She's just going to make ripples and waves, and that's going to be problematic. We don't want to have to deal with that. As well as the other girl who had to be groped by a guy who's already dead. We see her straddling his corpse with trying to put his hand on her, hoping that'll appease the king in a later scene. So let's kill them because they're both pretty much dead anyway, and at least in the case of Natsuko, she's going to be a problem. So we'll eliminate her. But this isn't what Mizuki has worked out. She's worked out she's going to send a text to herself and then one to Natsuko because she wants to get sort of vengeance on Natsuko for having pointedly threatened Kenta, who now she has developed feelings for. Mizuki apparently, I don't know if she's known Kenta for a while. I haven't gotten that impression. It seems to me like they've only been hanging out for a couple of hours and suddenly she's well and truly infatuated with him. She's head over heels in love with him. She almost forcibly makes him admit to the fact that he might have feelings for her in this episode. And immediately after this almost sort of pseudo-sweet moment between them where he kisses her and assures her that he does have an interest in her, suddenly she flips on a dime and she's super psychotic and she's like, I'll send the texts, one to me and one to you, and we'll die together. We'll Bonnie and Clyde this shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? The way her eyes go wide and like she's crying, but she's like, she is full-blooded, full-fledged psychopath. But then I start wondering if that's even the case, because later on we realize Kenta has realized, by making the vow, sending the text, the command to himself via the King's Game, that he will protect her life at all costs. He's dead to rights anyway, you know. And suddenly I'm like, okay, so in that moment, was Mizuki crazed and psychotic, or was she actually thinking logically because she already was 3 steps ahead of that realization that Kenta had all but screwed himself? Was she already aware of that, or was she just psycho? You know, like channeling Natsuko. I don't know. Fuck this show. Fuck it. Fuck it up its bleeding anus. And then, of course, Natsuko calls Nobuaki, seeming to know that Kenta and Mizuki are dead, relishing in that fact while humping a guy. She's in the process of fucking a guy. And that's when she makes this call. So yeah, big whoop-de-doo. That's what we get. Chiemi and Natsuko are sisters, and somehow their family ties all the way back to this town from 30 years hence where the King's Game began. So I guess arguably, as long as Natsuko's alive, that's why the game is continuing to go on. Maybe it wasn't following Nobuaki at all. Maybe it's following the family lineage of the Hondas, Chiemi and Natsuko. So does that mean if they kill Natsuko, it's over? Is it going to transfer to somebody else? Is it actually going to follow some of these other kids, a la Nightmare on Elm Street, a reference I made in an earlier video? I don't know. I don't know if I care. I don't know if I care. This close to dropping this shit. It's not even that fun to rant about anymore. It's like, it's not silly. It's just stupid. Painfully fucking stupid. Like, I just want to bang my head against the wall. Stupid. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you made of episode 7 of this absolute shit show. Let me know, love it or hate it. I'd be absolutely gobsmackingly shocked and surprised if any of you had anything positive to say about this show. Lest we forget the autonomous AI and all of that, and the virus and all that bullshit from the last episode. And then this one was just, they were trying to amp up the melodrama and daytime soap opera level. And it was ineffectual, and it was just stupid, and it was just sort of, you know, holding off the inevitable. And there's still 5 episodes. There's still 5 more episodes of this shit. I wish they would just all come out on one day and I could just marathon them. Because, oh my god, 5 more weeks of this? God. So anyway, that's pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. And a little more sane than I'm left after this piece of shit episode. And I'll catch you later. Peace.